Let's handsome up this Altcast. How about it?
Oh,
we're joined
guy.
right now by Anson Carter, who had two different stints with the Washington Capitals, an analyst on TNT. By the way, TNT has the Caps game coming up this coming Wednesday ahead of Thanksgiving at Capital One Arena. Anson, it's Grant Paulson, Tarek El-Bashir, Brent Johnson. Welcome to our Altcast Connect tonight. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, fellas? Johnny, how you doing, man?
Oh, wonderful, buddy. Miss you around here. How is it down there in Georgia? Pretty nice?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty cold right now. You can see I got my state hoodie on right now.
Oh, my Sparties.
We were just talking about that.
Let's go.
Degrees. Exactly.
Yep.
We won't ask you about we won't ask you about how their football season's going so far, Anson. It's been a rough go of it for the lads.
Hey, this is a hockey show. This is a hockey show.
Exactly.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
Stick to puck. I get you. Hey, what do you make of the news today? Ovi out 4 to 6 weeks with the broken bone in the fibula.
Devastated. Absolutely devastated. Just watching the chase that Ovi's been on, watching his game, thinking there's a chance he could catch Gretz this season. And you think about Ovi, what's made him so efficient and so great over the years. He never gets hurt. Yeah. Like, what's that saying? The greatest ability is availability. Yeah. Ovi never ever gets hurt. So when I heard news, we saw the game in the background, and I saw him run to McBain. I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe a little tweak here, little bruise or whatever. When I heard it was a broken fibula or whatever they said they have, out 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, 6 to 8 weeks, I was devastated as a hockey fan, guys, because I'm trying to break that record.
But, Ants, you've probably been around guys that have had some type of injury like that, in the leg area. And, at an age of 39, what would you think would be like, would this set him back coming back from this when he eventually does? Is he going to seem like another guy coming off an injury or something like that?
Yeah, it's so hard to tell, John. When you get older, it's harder to feel better, and it takes longer to heal. But the fact he hasn't missed any games, I swear he's half man, half Wolverine. Yeah. I'd like to think that he could probably heal fairly quickly. And, typically as an older player, it would affect his jump. It's not like it's his shoulder or his hands, it's his legs, so lower body. And you usually lose a step as you get older. But he's been playing with a guy like Stromer, who distributes the puck, carries the puck for him. So I don't think that's really a concern. But I really believe this motivation to try to catch Gretz, that's going to help him in his rehab. And then once he gets back, I think he's going to be as hungry as ever. I really do.
Let's go.
Anson, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he played here 2 times in Washington, D.C., both times 19 games. And the last time was during that crazy fire sale at the end of 03-04 that led to the Caps tanking and getting the number 1 overall.
Well, he was a part of the fire sale.
Yeah,
he was traded here for Yager from the Rangers, right, Anson?
I was. So I was traded there to Washington after my senior year at Michigan State. We had asked for a move from the Avs because I hadn't heard from them for 4 years. And they moved me to Washington, and then they moved me to Boston. I didn't want to get traded there. My roommate from college, I lived with 2 field hockey players, Terry Kiernan. She lived there in Virginia. So I love D.C., and nobody quite understood why, because the Capitals back then, fellas, you guys know, it wasn't like the Capitals now. Ted Leonsis and that group just came out after the fact and bought the team, really turned things around. But Landover wasn't the same thing as playing downtown in D.C., and nobody could understand why I love playing in D.C. I love playing there in Washington. So I was disappointed. When George McPhee traded me that second time, he thought he was doing me a favor. And he called me off the ice during warm-ups, and he said, I'm sending you to L.A. because I have my off-season home there. But he was shocked to find out I didn't want to get traded. But they were trying to dump salaries. They're moving on. They're trying to get Ovi, I guess, that number 1 pick. But I really enjoyed my time there playing in D.C. I really did.
Anson, looking back, would you say it worked out, the trying to position themselves to get the number 1 pick, or no?
No, I think it was terrible. I think it was a failed experience.
Yeah, really.
Whatever happened? Who did they take with that pick? Whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah, I would have kept everyone else. Yeah, number 1 pick. Are you nuts? Of course it worked out. Winning Stanley Cups. And my favorite memory of being there in Washington is when we covered the final as part of NBC Sports. I had the privilege of being there on location with the rest of the team, and just seeing that sea of red, that just blew my mind. Outside the arena, seeing the fans, seeing the passion, that stuff I only saw with Redskin fans before.
Yeah.
I hadn't experienced that with Washington Capitals fans. So to see what they've been able to do there, their organization with Ted and Zach and their group, and it all comes down to Ovi.
Yeah.
Ovi's uplifted the game of hockey. I mean, Tarek, your son plays. I mean, we think he'd be playing without Ovi being the superstar that he is. I doubt it.
It is the
culture,
Ovi effect.
the culture change.
Ovi effect.
Yeah, overnight.
Yep.
Yeah, and going back. Yeah, going back to that, and we got a break right here.
Opportunity for Dubois.
Georgiev.
Would have been his second of the night.
Yeah.
The correction
there
is
you go.
coming.
Oh, man.
How good has he been?
The correction.
He's been unreal, dude.
Yeah. Great.
Going back to Ovi and the culture that kind of that was created. You got to remember, after that fire sale, and the next year was it was the lockout year, and there was nothing happening. And then we come in and we have that 04-05 was rough. 04, 05, 05, or 06.
05 or 06, yeah.
05,
04, 05, there was no hockey.
Yeah, no hockey. But that year, it was like we were so absolutely terrible here. But we had the best time watching Alex Ovechkin do his thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was it. It was the show every night, right? What's he going to do?
He scored the goal behind his head.
Oh, it's just, yeah. So, I mean, while we weren't having fun losing like we were certainly having fun watching Ovi play.
Yeah, no doubt. He was definitely box office for sure. You never knew that first year what he was going to do to bring you out of the seats. And it was just the perfect storm with the National Hockey with Sidney going to Pittsburgh. I probably shouldn't mention his name on this alt-cast here. And then you got Ovi in Washington. It was like the magic bird, what exactly you needed from the NHL coming out of the low of having a lockout to having these two young, phenomenal players with the rule changes, making it a little bit easier to score and maybe more of an emphasis on scoring and not so much clutching and grabbing. I mean, Johnny, I felt bad for goaltenders because it was open season on you guys.
I know you're right, but imagine geography-wise, like how different it would have been if one of those guys was in L.A. Or it just happened that those two guys came in the same time, played division rivals, and it created this microphone, and so many people benefit from it. Hockey benefited from it, the NHL, different organizations. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing to watch and be a part of.
And they're still doing it.
And they're still doing it. Yeah, and they're still both at the top of their games.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. I mean, you could say really Gretz had the biggest impact with the expansion of hockey in the U.S., more importantly than the South and the Southwest and Dallas and L.A. But you could argue and say Ovi's had that same kind of impact in the Southeast. Remember when he first came in, it was a South-Least division.
Right.
Yeah.
That division was terrible.
Right.
And that Caps team was unbelievable. And then Carolina all of a sudden became a really good hockey club. And it started spreading further south towards Tampa Bay, and then Nashville, and then Florida. And my fingers crossed, knock on wood here, fellas, that we're getting another team here in Atlanta the next 3 years. So you never know.
Yeah, I'll never forget those trips to Atlanta. I love that city. That was such a cool arena, Phillips Arena. And there was this goalie named Kari Lehtinen that Ovi just ate up. I mean, he just scored on him.
Kari Lehtinen was an unbelievable phenom back in the day.
Except for against Ovi.
And I used to love playing against him. And I was like, we're gonna win this.
Yeah.
Even though Kari Lehtinen was so good, I just knew how good Ovi was against him every single time out.
So, Anson,
it's unreal. I mean, Texas teams should have been better than they were. For whatever reason, that's another story.
So is that going to be GM Anson Carter when the hockey returns to Atlanta?
I'd like to see that.
To be team owner.
Team owner. I love it.
Now, you're shortchanging him on GM.
Go.
Let's take a peek when we return at some of the ways Anson helped the Caps in his years here in D.C. over 2 stints. Your monumental altcast, and this is a throwback. Oh, look, Anson's in studio with the lads at the holidays. That's the good stuff there. Last time we saw you around these parts, buddy, you were looking fresh in the green and red.
I remember that.
You know what? That suits my litmus test. I keep it around, and as long as I can fit in that every single year, I know my cardio, my conditioning is up to speed.
Yeah, I love it. I definitely can't fit in the suit. I was in there. Tarek, you look good.
I don't remember ever owning a red shirt. I must have borrowed that. I had a red
They were
shirt.
passing out gear while we were here.
But
Hey,
it looks so good on you.
I want to take a look at a fight. Anson, I want you to watch this one with us, buddy, while we got you. Our crew hard at work, finding some things to show you here. All right, so I believe the first fight we're going to look at is going to be Anson and Brindamore going at it.
Very nice. Let's go.
This is the 1998 fight. So this is
okay. This
on
is,
this date, by the way,
brawl.
November 21, 1998, to the day, nearly 30 years ago.
Is that Colsick and Defoe?
Carter's on the Bruins for this massive fight between the two teams. And I believe you were on the bench. You were not on the ice here as everyone dropped the gloves, right, Anson?
I was probably chirping the boys. There's one time I was in a little scrum. Remember, Dale Hunter sucker punched me, and I was like, Huntsy, lucky you throw muffins, or else I'd be pissed off with you right now. And he just starts.
Look at the aftermath here, Johnny. That's the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Seeing the coaches on the bench flexing off. Come on, that is what it's all about. That's old school hockey, and I love it.
I want to see the Brindamore fight. If you got that one, boys, we can play that one too.
Come on.
Will with an out. Rolled on him a little bit. Here we go. Anson mixing it up as a Capital. Get after him.
Gotta get those gloves on.
Let's go.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Landed one there, Anson.
I'll give you guys the backstory to this was I ran Desjardins behind the net. I was trying to make an impact. As a young player, I was playing with Pivot and Bondra at the time, and I was always in the fourth line. Yeah, Roddy got that smoke that night. He didn't know. He wasn't anticipating that. He was checking the game notes, boys.
Repping T.O., man. Throwing haymakers.
Hey, listen,
I ran Desjardins behind the net.
And that guy,
Guys were
hey, that guy is absolutely shredded too, right?
Still
to this day. So, hey, well done, my man. Well done. Wow.
I think I caught him off guard. Like, I wasn't thinking about fighting him, to be honest. Like, after the hit went down, the big E comes skating over. He's like, Ace, man, you got to settle down out here. I said, E, like, you're established out here. I'm trying to make my mark. Like, settle down yourself. And then Brindamore goes, come on, punk, let's go. And he said it to me across from our bench. And I was like, wait a minute, this is Rod the Bod, Spartan legend.
Yeah.
He can't be talking to me. I went to Michigan State, too.
Oh,
and we got closer towards our bench.
Both Sparties? I didn't know that. I didn't know Rod.
Yes, that was the thing that.
God.
Johnny, that's what drove me crazy because I was like, wait, I'm not fighting this guy. He's a Spartan.
Yeah.
And then we're right in front of our bench. It was, let's go, kid. And our whole team's kind of stood up, their eyes wide open, like, what are you going to do about it? I had to fight him. I was like,
that's awesome. I love the backstories.
Yeah.
So at that point, you have no choice, right? I mean, because
you had no choice.
Yeah.
No choice. And at that point, they're like, I didn't really fight that much in my career. Like, I'm not going to go and say I was Craig Berube, one of those guys. Like, I was a player that if I fought, it was personal, and I couldn't focus on the rest of the game. Like, Johnny, I've seen you drop the mitts of the goaltender. Yeah. Don't act like you're a choir boy over there either. But I couldn't focus after a fight, so I was all in. It was fight or flight for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, there are just a few moments of rage out there where, and it didn't even have to be from that game. It could have been from, a few games ago, or just something that was, boiling under the surface. And sometimes you got to let them have it. And that's part of the game. That's a part of the game that has just kind of slowly gone away. I think Anson a little bit here, but you still have a few guys that are willing to go out there and drop the mitts with each other, and that's still nice to see.
Let's get a fan question in for Anson here from Chris, who wants to know, which former teammate's career do you admire most? Jumbo Joe, Ray Bourque, the Sedins, or is it somebody else?
Oh, those are all great choices. I would have to say it's probably a combination between Jumbo and Danny and Hank Sedins. Bubba was already established when I got there in Boston. He was on the back nine. I would say he was on the 18th hole when I got there to Boston before I went to Colorado. But being able to see it and help Jumbo come through when he first started out and watching him grow as a hockey player, and then helping Danny and Hank. Like, they were really lost when I went there to Vancouver. Their confidence is at all-time low. Everyone kept calling him a bust. And, it was all about just being able to work. And I just said to him when I went there, listen, fellas, as long as we work hard, we're going to be okay. and I didn't expect anything from them. I just said, we're going to battle, because remember, when the Sedins first came to the league, they were cycle monsters. Yeah. They would cycle the puck for 3 minutes in the corner, but nothing would get done.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing would get done.
Circle, yeah.
Yes, they're wearing down the corner. So in training camp, I said, hey, boys, I don't have an oxygen tank in my back. I'm giving you guys 10 seconds to cycle in the corner. After that, we're taking the puck to the cage.
Exactly.
If you don't score,
I'm out of here.
Yes. Change.
You know what? Those two guys, and I was just in training camp in Vancouver just the 1 year. What a save by
Logan
Thompson there. But and you know what sticks out and stands out to me about the Twins is just how they were just unbelievable human beings.
Yeah, great.
You know what I mean? They're just spectacular guys.
We got to thank Anson Carter. Remember, the Caps are on TNT next Wednesday night, the evening before Thanksgiving.